Então, vamos levantar para receber Mark Waid, quadrinista best-seller. Seja bem-vindo!
Que charme.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
Hello, Mr. Waid. Thank you. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you.
Gente, rapidinho, just one second, please. Eu vou aproveitar que vocês estão aqui, bem confortáveis. Vou dar uma saidinha para vocês fazerem a entrevista, porque eu preciso tomar uma aguinha e tudo mais, mas daqui a pouco eu volto para auxiliar vocês, tá bom?
Tranquilo.
Daqui a pouco eu volto, gente.
Muito obrigado.
Pleasure to meet you.
Welcome back.
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
I'll talk to you as well. Actually, we talked before, the first time you came, right? How do you like the con so far?
It's been amazing. It's been great. Yeah.
it's an honor.
Oh, you're very kind. Thank you.
It's amazing to be here with you. So, Mr. H, how is to wake up at the morning, see yourself at the mirror, and realize that you are a comic book legend?
Look, I just put my pants on one leg at a time like everybody else. It's all of this and people standing in line and people wanting autographs still feels new and strange to me, but I'm very grateful for it. Yeah.
And you are back. So after many years, you are back to DC Comics.
Yes.
And with a comics that is a huge success, Batman and Superman. You bring so much stuff back at this comic.
Yeah.
And so you think that the audience was looking for nostalgia?
I think they were looking for what DC asked me to do with this book was just give them the versions of the characters that everyone is familiar with. Don't worry about what they're doing in their current books. Don't worry about continuity so much, because then you have to accommodate what they're doing in all their other books, and it makes it a mess. So they just said, just do what you want to do. Just put it a little bit, an indeterminate amount in the past, just a few years in the past, and do whatever you want to do. And that was, and I'm having a ball.
There's that great thing that I think that actually happens in your comics, because sometimes you get a character, he used to be seen as like a somber or like a dark character like Daredevil and maybe Black Widow, and then you tell stories of them and it turns fun, and it turns like not actually light stories but fun stories. Is that something that's like your mindset? You try to make it like appealing for everyone, appealing for people who are fan of action sequences, action comics. How does that work?
I couldn't quite hear. One more time.
It's really hard to hear.
Here. Okay. Yeah, not your fault. It's a little hard to hear.
Yeah, that's all right.
Real quickly.
He asked about doing comics just for people to have fun. You know?
Right. Yes, exactly. That's my favorite kind. I always try to remember that every comic is somebody's first comic, right? So I think it's very important that they enjoy the characters. The key to a good story is characters that people want to spend time with, right? If you don't want to spend time with those characters, or if you're not interested, not even not being interested, but just they don't appeal to you, you don't know enough about them, then you're not going to follow the story, you're not interested. So my job is to make sure that not only do you know the characters, but you understand what they want and who they are and what their names are and what their powers are and all that, and then just have fun with it, as opposed to just dark. I can do dark, grim comics, and I've done dark, grim story, but my heart is in the fun stuff. Yeah.
Is there anything new that can be done with superheroes?
Oh, sure. I mean, look, if there weren't, nobody would be out there. If there were nothing left to be done with superheroes, no one would be out there. I mean, I still think there are stories to be told. I still think that what's important.
I'm talking to them.
It's okay. I mean, what's important is that the writer and the artist feel like they have something to say, right? And using those characters to get something that is personal. You can tell a story that's written that has no personal feel to it, that the creators didn't feel like they were invested in, It doesn't read well. It reads very plain. You want a story where the creators feel like they have something to say, a message or something. I mean, with Daredevil, for instance, when I was doing Daredevil, it was very much talking about depression and the medical condition of depression and so forth. And that was something that I saw in that character, and something that I deal with on a daily basis. So it was a way to get some personal. Yeah.
You told us that the writer has to have something to say with those stories. So, what do you want to say with a fusion of Batman and Superman? That was awesome. I love it. Did you read it, Marcelo?
Yeah, it's great. It's
awesome.
Great.
That was just fun. I had nothing to say but fun. Here's the thing. It was awesome, but it was awesome because Dan drew it. It was not awesome because I thought of it. It was awesome because Dan drew an amazing... all I said was put them together. Dan, who designed it, it looks amazing.
But where this idea came from?
Yeah. There was an old Superman and Batman villain called the Composite Superman, who was half Superman and half Batman. And I've always loved that character, but I couldn't find a place for him in the story. So he said, well, Dan, do something with that idea. See if you can do something on that looks more contemporary. And he did. Yeah.
Awesome.
Speaking of, I don't know if you can hear me right now.
Okay, yeah.
Speaking of dark stories that you told, you did Kingdom Come, which is really famous.
Thank you.
And I don't know if you got to see this, but James Gunn, who is actually taking care of the movies, he tweeted an image of Superman and Kingdom Come.
I saw that. I bet it has more to do with the idea of them putting, their heads. But it would be awesome if they wanted to do something with it. It would be great.
And how about your cameo?
I'm sorry?
The movie, your cameo. There anything already planned?
I'm having a hard time hearing you. I'm sorry.
Your cameo on the movie from Kingdom Come.
Okay. Yeah, that would. I mean,
if we had a movie,
it would be awesome. Yes, I would. Yes, that. Fingers crossed. Nothing. No news, but fingers crossed. Yeah.
But if this really happens, what character would you like to play in a quick cameo?
Wow, I think John Hamm would be a great older Superman. I think that's all I know, but I think he'd be amazing. Yeah.
I believe the first time that you were here was like 2018?
2015.
2015?
Yeah.
Oh, it's been quite a while. Yeah. How do you see the industry of comics since 2015? We got the pandemics. There's a lot going on. And do you see there's a difference from that time and the way they do comics today?
Yeah, there is. And the biggest difference is the creators are getting more diverse. When I started 35 years ago, it was all white men doing comics. And now we're seeing more and more, as we should, we're seeing more and more diversity, more inclusivity, or different people. Like I said, writers have to have something to say. Well, younger writers of color, younger writers, of different genders will have something to say that I don't, and that's great. So that's the biggest change, I think, is more and more the audience accepting that, and the number of creators we have who are doing more personal stuff about, that don't look like me, right?
One of the big accomplishments, in my opinion, of the movies from Marvel is that they did Captain America really well. I mean, nobody outside the USA knows Captain America and loves him.
Yeah.
They did it properly. I mean, it's one of the best characters in the MCU.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm thrilled that it translated over here and that people understood. That was the reason they didn't do a Captain America movie for years and years, because they assumed that only the United States would be the audience and nobody would be interested. But they managed to make it work.
Yeah, and of course, you worked with Captain America recently. And how was that? How did that run?
I'm sorry, one more time, I'm sorry.
Eu também não consegui essa parte, finalzinho.
You've written Captain America recently.
Sorry. How was to work on Captain America a few years back?
Oh, right, okay, so yeah, I've had, let me think. I've done three turns, right? I did one in the 90s with Ron Garney, and then I did Man Without Time, Man Out of Time. That was the origin 5 issues. And then most recently, I didn't want to do Captain America again because I think it's a bad idea to go back and do something that you've already done because people will just compare you to your older work. And I was afraid that people would look at this and go, oh, it's not as good as his old Captain America. But Chris Samnee wanted to do it, and I will follow the artist Chris Samnee. I will follow him into a fire. I would do whatever. So whatever he wanted to do, he wanted to do Captain America? Okay, let's do Captain America. Yeah.
He's amazing.
He's astounding.
And speaking of Chris Samnee, the way that you guys did Black Widow is just brilliant. I mean, that first issue, that is like a big action sequence. It's amazing. And I got to see a little bit of that on the series. I mean, Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And it looked like that.
Yeah. I would like to see that. I don't know what their approach is going to be in the new series, but I would love to see something a little. Well, you saw in She-Hulk. Have you seen She-Hulk yet?
Yeah, it's great.
It's a lighter. It's not silly, but it's a little lighter in tone. That would be cool. Yeah.
What I wanted to ask is, do you see your work reflected in the movie, maybe Black Widow movie or series? Do you see your work being reflected in these adaptations?
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, from the Black Widow. The Black Widow? That would be, you mean the Black Widow, yes?
Yeah. Black Widow or any work.
Well, the Black Widow would be the one. I mean, that's because that's Chris Samnee all the way, and that first issue that's just nothing but her falling through the air for 20 pages.
Yes.
And still kicking ass. That's awesome.
Can we talk a little bit about DC Comics?
About
how is to come back to DC?
DC versus.
You are back to DC Comics, right?
Yes.
How is
it's much?
How is
it's
feeling?
Every place is good. I mean, I've never had a bad experience at Marvel or anywhere else, but DC is my home. These are the characters that I love. This is the stuff. If you went to my house, that's all you would see is Batmobiles, and Batmobiles everywhere, and Superman statues everywhere. That's what you would see in my house.
That's so sad to me. Sorry.
I know.
That's a huge disappointment, but it's okay. So, Mr. Waid, I think that DC lost its way because we don't have a monthly comic book from Green Arrow. It seems to me that they are losing time. They are not taking advantage of a lot of superheroes that they have.
Yeah. I have seen their plans for next year, and they're great plans. And I think they feel very much the same way, which is we need the core characters back. We need them in a form that readers can recognize, and we don't need to keep changing history and changing their continuity and stuff. So starting the end of this year and starting at the beginning of next year, DC has this big plan called Dawn of DC. And it's not a storyline. It's just more of a sense of, okay, if you're starting comics and you want to read DC Comics, this is where you start. And make sure that it's like World's Finest, that it's a book that all of them should be like World's Finest, a book that you can pick up and understand and enjoy without all the other stuff.
And how about Shazam? What can you say about this comic?
It's Dan. I mean, again, Dan's going to make me look great. Dan Moore is going to make me look amazing. That's a character I've wanted to do since I was a boy. It's such a great character. He's a young child who says a magic word and becomes an adult, but he still has the mind of a teenage boy, a young boy, and the joy in that, the excitement in that. There is not a childish quality, but a childlike quality, sort of a childlike to Shazam that is unique. I mean, Superman doesn't ride the back of a dinosaur and laugh, but Shazam will ride up the back of a dinosaur and laugh and have a good time. He's always having a good time.
Speaking of Shazam,
yes,
we have DC films. Sometimes they are family friendly, sometimes they are somber.
Yeah.
But maybe James Gunn is coming in to connect these movies.
Yeah.
Do you think it's better if they are connected, or maybe they are standing alone?
I think seeing what they've done at Marvel, I think if they could do that at DC and connect things better, I mean, I think there's always room for things like the Joker, which is outside all this stuff. But it would be fun to see these characters cross over a little bit more in the movies. We saw it at the end of Black Adam, with Superman. So more of that, more continuity in the movies. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And of course, we're about to see in the MCU that Kang is going to show up. After this big saga of Thanos. If you had the keys for the MCU, what kind of story of big saga or big story would you tell?
For the MCU? Oh, man. I'm not sure, but it would revolve around the Fantastic Four. It would totally revolve around. They're the first Marvel superheroes of the modern era. They're awesome, and I can't wait to see what they do with them. John Krasinski in Doctor Strange was a great Fantastic Four, great Mr. Fantastic. I hope he comes back. I hope they get him back.
Yeah, maybe.
And how would you connect Fantastic Four to the MCU now? Another universe?
No, I would, if it were me, just me, I would say that stuff happened years ago. I would put them back in time, and before the Avengers, and then bring them back into present. Just sort of, they're older. That would be interesting to have them start back before the Avengers, and then they've been forgotten for all these years, and now they're back. That'd be interesting.
Do you prefer like just the four of them, or the whole family and the kids? I think the kids are great.
I think that, it's a huge cast, but just start with those four. Just start with those four. They're such great characters, and they play off each other so well. And they're people call them a dysfunctional family, but they're not a dysfunctional family. They're a very functional family because they get things done. Yeah.
Are you into the World Cup?
I'm sorry?
Are you into the World Cup for soccer?
Oh, I am not a sports. I'm sadly not a sports guy. No.
Because you don't have a lot of alternative here in Brazil.
I know.
The World Cup is happening right now.
I know.
And tomorrow Brazil is playing. So I really hope you guys, you have a great time. And as well, have a great time this time in Brazil. It's great to have you back here. It's always a pleasure.
I'm having a good time. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you, you bet.
Take care. Não, você fica. A gente vai bater um